Hi, my name is Kevin Fernandez and welcome to my channel. Today we'll be learning how to play the cooperative puzzle game Paint the Roses. This 2 to 5 player game designed by Ben Goldman and published by North Star Games. The queen is in a ruckus. She wants a beautiful rose garden so that way everyone in Wonderland will be jealous of her as if they aren't already. She then hires some new gardeners to rearrange her rose bushes in a specific way that she wants. Being short-tempered as she is, she quickly starts chasing after them, making sure that they're doing everything they can to her whim. Unfortunately, they can't really talk with each other that much because they're too afraid of what she might do and if they might lose their, Will you be able to complete the best rose garden in all of Wonderland and keep your head? Or will the queen have her way? Find out as we go to the table and learn how to play Paint the Roses. Place your garden board on the table. The gardeners on space 0 of the board. And place the queen on space 44 on the score track. And place the white rabbit between the 9 and the 10 on the score track. Give each player 6 clue tokens of a unique color of their own. Place the 4 flower tokens off to the side. So we're going to place them down here. Place the starting shrub tiles with the borders around the edges and the red backs on the board in the matching numbered space. So this is tile 1, so it'll go on space 1 right here. Tile 2 will go on space 2 right here. Number 3 will go over here with the matching 3, and these are all numbered on the board too. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Take the 3 whim decks, shuffle them, and place them above the board. And last, hard. There we go. Every player gets to draw a whim card from one of the 3 decks. They get to choose between easy, medium, or hard. Only one player at a time can have an easy card. However, players can choose medium or hard as many times as amongst each other as they want. So for example, let's say we're playing a full 5-player game. Jordan draws an easy card. Well, that means the other 4 players cannot draw easy until that easy card has been resolved. Medium and hard are always available. So I'm going to pick from a medium and I'll give Jordan an easy. You must keep these whims secret from other players, but don't worry, you can always peek at them yourself. Next, take your greenhouse And we'll take 4 random tiles, place them in the greenhouse slots. Like so. Take the rest of them and just place them off to the side. We can keep this right here in the shot. The player who most recently watered a plant gets to go first. You give them the greenhouse to show that they are the first player, and will take the first turn. And that completes the setup. Take a shrub tile from the greenhouse and place it on an unoccupied space in the garden. This can allow you to reveal clues about your hidden whim card and sometimes learn about your teammates' whim cards too. Each shrub tile has 2 symbols, a shape, and a color. There are 4 colors, pink, red, purple, and yellow, and 4 shapes, spades, diamonds, clubs, and hearts. Clue tokens help you decipher the queen's whims. When a shrub tile is placed in the royal garden, every player checks their hidden whim card. If a symbol on the new shrub tile is a symbol and an adjacent shrub tile exactly matches on your whim card, they put a clue token on the newly placed tile. Place 1 clue token for each adjacent shrub tile that creates a match with the newly placed shrub tile. So for example, this is the card that I have going on. Since I do have 2 red roses that's adjacent, I can place 2 clue tokens. Clue tokens are always placed on the newly placed tile. The notepads that are included in your game can help you record what you've learned about a current whim. I recommend each player takes notes, would be like this one, about the whim card of the player to their right. You may not take notes about your own whim card because you're trying to guess all the other players' whim cards. You're not trying to guess your own. You already know what yours is. The team must guess at least one player's whim during guess a whim card phase. It can be any player's whim, including the active player. So, unlike a lot of other games where we have stuff like that, it doesn't necessarily have to be your turn in order to guess your whim. You just all have to agree that that's what you're going to be guessing. Players may discuss other players' whim cards, but cannot discuss their own. When players are ready to guess a whim, they must state they are making an official guess. Indicate which player's whim card is being guessed and the symbols it contains. A guess is only correct if the team correctly identified both symbols on the specific player's whim. If a whim card is guessed correctly, you advance the gardeners on the score track the number of spaces. So say they guessed this one correctly, that means I get to advance the gardeners 2 spaces. I return the clue tokens back to me, and I place the whim card face up in a discard pile for that deck. If the gardeners pass the white rabbit, add 1 flower token to the red queen. This will increase her speed by 1. Then we move the white rabbit forward to the next icon. You have to remove him from the game once she has all 4 flowers on her mover. The team has the option to guess another player's whim card after each successful guess. If a whim card is guessed incorrectly, the phase ends immediately. Do not reveal the whim card, as this is kept secret until accurately guessed. After players have finished guessing whims, the queen moves clockwise around the board according to her speed. When she doesn't have a flower, it's just 1 speed. When she has 1 flower under her, she'll have 2 speed. If she has 2 flowers, a white and a red, then she has 3. When it's a white, a red, and another white, it's 4. And when it's the white, red, then she's got a speed of 5. However, if the team guessed incorrectly in phase 3, the queen moves double that speed. So we did guess it correctly, and let's say we've gone through the deck a bit and we got all the way up to here. That means the queen gets to move 2 spaces. But if we guessed incorrectly, she gets to move 4 spaces. If the queen catches the gardeners, by that I mean she's landed on their space or moves past their space, she immediately beheads the gardeners. Our deepest regrets, as you are now dead. And the game is over. Starting with the movement speed of 1, the queen's speed will increase as players move around the score track. Whenever the gardeners pass the white rabbit on the score track, a flower token is added to the queen. Each flower permanently increases the queen's movement speed by 1. If the queen is now in the same space as the gardeners or ahead of them, she immediately beheads the gardeners. If you are still ahead of the queen, go through the following steps before the next player takes their turn. The first thing is everyone needs a new whim card, and they draw one. Note, only one player at the table may have an easy card. Number 2, you draw a random shrub tile from the bag, and you fill up the empty space. Then you pass the greenhouse to the player to the left. That player is now the new active player, and will take a turn starting with phase 1. You and your teammates win if the royal garden is filled without the gardeners being caught. So you just progress through the game. So it looks kind of like that, as just an example. There's no specific pattern though. A little note, players must still complete all phases of a turn, including guessing a whim and moving the queen, even on the turn the garden is fully filled. You and your teammates immediately lose the game though if the queen reaches or passes the gardeners on the score track. The queen cries, "Off with their heads!" and it's heard around the palace gardens, and everybody just goes, "Whoa!" And that's all you need to know to play Paint the Roses. If you have any questions about this game, please put them in the comments below, and I'll get to them as soon as I possibly can. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and ring the notification bell to be notified for how to play videos just like this one. And if you're a big fan of the channel as a whole, consider becoming a Patreon supporter on our Patreon page. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. I'd like to thank our current patrons. Your donations mean a lot to this channel and helps us do what we do. You can support us for as little as $1 a month, which unlocks early access to how to play videos, just like the one you just watched. Be on the lookout for our upcoming gameplay video on Paint the Roses, but until then, thanks for the views.